Well, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today, I'm doing every unmade Friday the 13th movie. I'm reading this from screen right now. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is a series that I have been doing on the channel. I did one for the Halloweens, and I did one for the Nightmare on Elm Street. So today, every unmade Friday the 13th. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments below which one will you have liked to see made. Let's go into the first one, Jenny versus Jason in an asylum. After the first two Friday the 13th movies, provided to be a box office hit, Paramount wanted to keep the franchise going. An early version of Part 3 centered on the character Gina Field, picking up where she left off at the end of the second movie's events. The plot followed Jenny recovering in an insane hospital, with Jason intent on finding and killing her. The movie would have Jason tracking her down and tearing through the hospital rampage. Sound familiar? The idea was short-lived, though, as actress Amy Still turned down the role of Jenny. Instead of the third Friday the 13th, director Steve Miller went in another direction. Now, I found this interesting. I think it would have been cool to see Jason in an asylum. Different setting for Jason, why not? And I find it interesting this didn't happen. As you say, you heard me why I say this sounds familiar. Jason tracking her down, tearing through the hospital on a rampage. That sounds familiar because it sounds like the exact same script from Halloween 2. I mean, it really wouldn't have surprised me if this actually came to a fruition and was actually made, because I said it's actually confirmed. Friday the 13th, the original, is a copy and paste of Halloween. I said it and it has been confirmed. So if you want to hate on me, you can, but it's confirmed. Freddy vs. Jason concepts. There's a ton of these. I mean, tons. Before the actual Freddy vs. Jason, directed by Ronnie Yu, that came out in 2003, as we all know, there were many ideas pitched in New Line about how to construct these two mashups. One of the several ideas set the plot inside of an insane asylum instead of featuring the actual Freddy and Jason. If you're making a Freddy if can't talk. If you are making a Freddy vs. Jason movie, you gotta have the real Jason. You gotta have the real Freddy. The movie was centered on two mental patients who were under the delusion that they were Freddy and Jason. Sure. This idea was scrapped, thank God, and then we got the actual one that came out in 2003, Cheech and Chong versus Jason. This is wild, but I can kind of see it. After Jason Lives, which was written and directed by Tom McLaughlin, came out in 1986, the studio had hard times figuring out what the next step should be for Jason. By considering concepts and tossing around concepts, McLaughlin realized Paramount owned the rights to Cheech and Chong. McLaughlin considered having Jason meet Cheech and Chong, a new Friday the 13th sequel, with Cheech and Chong as camp counselors at Camp Crystal Lake. Of course, the proposal was immediately too comical for the franchise, and Paramount shot it down. I find that kind of funny, comical. Watch Jason Lives, like the whole outlandish kills, like Jason pushing that man in the RV, you know. I find that interesting. And a Friday the 13th movie would kind of been focused on comedy. You know, a Friday the 13th, a horror comedy, it could have worked. Like, it could have worked, because I said this time and time again, they could have not made a sequel to that. I've said this before, I'm a casual Friday the 13th fan, but I see what I see. And what I see, I don't see none of these Friday the 13th movies connected. None of these are connected. You know, none of these Friday the 13th movies are connected, and they don't feel connected. You watch these back to back, and they don't feel connected. They don't feel intertwined. And I said that time and time again. You know, the only ones that feel connected is Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. That's it. Them the only ones that feel connected. And maybe the final chapter, really just the first four, really. Just really the first four feel connected, and they feel like they're in the same universe. Every Friday the 13th movie after the final chapter feels like it's its own standalone thing. To me, all the Friday the 13th movies after the final chapter are standalones. Come at me. I mean, I've been preaching that. The New Blood sequel. Following the release of Friday the 13th, The New Blood in 1988, Paramount was interested in keeping the franchise going for at least one more installment. Director John Carl Butcher worked on various plots that would bring back Laura Park, Lincoln's Tina character following her release from the insane asylum. Lincoln herself wanted to return for the franchise, and even co-wrote a screenplay that followed Tina working as a psychologist. I can't talk. I would have liked to see this one. Additionally, Kevin Spurts, who plays Tina Survivor's boyfriend Nick in The New Blood, wrote a script of his own. The plot his constructed would have altered the franchise direction. Portraying the events of the seventh movie is just a long dream. Would also reveal Nick himself to be a real killer, with him murdering Tina. Both Lincoln and story ideals ended up being rejected, thank God again. But again, I think if you would have taken away Nick being the killer and all this weird stuff, it would have been a decent sequel, because as I keep saying, there really hasn't been a direct sequel to this franchise. The only ones that are direct sequels are the first four. That's it. Come at me, I said it. A New Beginning sequel. When Jason was killed at the end of 1984's final chapter, Paramount was about keeping the character deceased. They wanted to keep him deceased. When director Donnie Sternberg signed on for the fifth movie, 1985's In the Beginning, he was told that he could not bring Jason back to life, leading in the infamous twist at the end, which reveals paramedic Roy Burns to be the real killer. This workaround kept Jason dead while still having a masked man killing teenagers. A sequel to A New Beginning was in the works for a while, in which the character of Tommy Jarvis ended up being set up as the killer for Friday the 13th franchise. The movie was never made, but explains the ending of The Beginning, which shows Tommy donning a hockey mask on himself, prepping to murder Pam. Now, I'm a fan of The New Beginning. I'm a fan. I have spoken my piece, and I said I'm a fan of Part 3. I'm a fan of the final chapter. I'm a fan of The New Beginning. I'm a fan of Jason Lives. And I'm a fan of parts of Jason X. And I'm a big fan of the remake. Even though I'm a fan of The New Beginning, and I like The New Beginning, I think it's fun, I think it's interesting, I like the new design of the hockey mask, I don't mind a copycat killer, even though some people hate The New Beginning, I kind of love The New Beginning, you know? Spice up the franchise for a bit. Now, off topic, I think a copycat killer would not work for Michael. It would not work for Freddy. But for Jason, kind of works, in my opinion. I kind of enjoyed The New Beginning. I kind of enjoyed The New Beginning. But a sequel to The New Beginning wouldn't have worked, and it would have been such a flop. The Crystal Lake Diaries. A few years after the 2009 Friday the 13th reboot, Sean C. Cunningham, one of the film's producers, considering developing into a found footage space. Cunningham was eager to release a sequel in 2013. Wanted to explore a plot similar to The New Blood, with a young woman returning to the scene of past traumatic events as part of her therapy. The movie would have followed by her family, as well as a documentary film crew. The idea, however, was never scripted. The studio didn't want to risk delving into the found footage subgenre of Friday the 13th movies. I found that kind of smart. That's the smartest thing they did for this franchise. That's the smartest thing. That's the smartest thing they could have did for this franchise, in my opinion, was not do the found footage. I mean, it sounds cool. Like, I mean, the found footage route seems cool. Kind of like Never Hike Alone, kind of. If if you would have made it like that, I think it would have worked. But I think if you went with the Blair Witch, the paranormal, I do think if you went with the Paranormal Activity, the Blair Witch type of found footage, the Gallows, type of found footage, it would have watered it down. It would have made it feel different and unique and styled, but it wouldn't have worked. And in 2013 and 2014 was the death of found footage films, in my opinion. So if a Friday the 13th movie came out in 2016, think about that. If a movie, if Friday the 13th had a sequel, or a reboot, whatever, in 2016 and was found footage, it would have been a flop. Because found footage movies were dead. Like, they really after 2014, they were dead. So, yeah. Then were every unmade Friday the 13th movies. Now, if I missed any, do let me know. Like I said, I'm reading this on Screen Rant. So if you enjoyed the video, it's my like button, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and Let me know in the comments below, like I just said, which one would you have liked to see get made? I would have liked to seen maybe the Asylum one, I don't know, but really that's the only one. It's really the Asylum one. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, play subscribe, hit the notification bell, and yeah, see you guys in the next video.